KnifeDope. More dope. Come and get your figs. What's up, fuckers? Your boy's back with a fresh batch of dope. KnifeDope. That's right, people. The hits don't stop. First and foremost, let me start out by saying, Happy New Year to all you filthy animals. I hope each and every one of you had a great New Year's. I hope that if you decided to venture out there into the public, that you made it home safe, either with a nice piece of ass or a brand new knife. Couldn't lose either way. But in all seriousness, I want to thank you guys for the loyal support. It's been a pleasure for the most part. You know, love the interaction, love the lives that we've been doing, the Thebladecartel. I will be doing more of my own lives as well, so just stay tuned for that. Also, real quick before we get to today's video, just wanted to run by these 5 topics on some of the upcoming video ideas I've got in mind. First one is going to be the spine whack gate situation. If you've been paying attention right now, I think probably the biggest issue that we're hearing about is the lockup failures on all these knives, from premium to budget and anything in between. So I'm thinking about doing a little video on that. Spoiler alert, I have quietly tested a few knives which I thought would pass with flying colors, and they didn't. In all fairness, I have reached out to the manufacturer for those knives. I did hear back from one, and his response was very, very disappointing. So I'll elaborate more on that later on. Also thinking about perhaps sharing some of the knives in my collection that, you know, passed this spine whack test with flying colors, and those are going to be knives that you can, you know, use without any type of worry. And then I'm also going to do a video on the budget alternatives. You know, I've done a couple of video series where I would showcase premium knives or knives that are, you know, very popular. Usually they're pricey. And then I always give you like a budget alternative to that knife. So I'm going to do another round of that. Then I'm going to do my second episode in my designer deep dive series. Last year we did episode 1, which was on the OG Sharif Manganis. So I got a new designer who I'm going to showcase. Then we're going to do our first state of the collection. Oh man, God damn it. You know, up to thus far, I have not shown my entire collection at all. I've showcased a few, you know, like my all-American knives or what have you. And you guys see a lot of them in the, you know, in the comparison videos. But I want to flex, God damn it. I want to show what the fuck I got. So I'm thinking about doing one of those. And last but surely not least, another KnifeDope sale. Now, the reason for that is because I had promised myself at the end of 2023, there were a few knives that I was actively trying to get. One of them being this Lamia, and then the other one being this TRM Shadow. I had told myself that if I acquired both of them, that I would go ahead and try to purge the collection, you know. I am going to be making a focus on acquiring more American-made knives. I'm going to try to avoid all the spam. A lot of these companies are just throwing shit out there, and they're trying to feed it to us. And, of course, a lot of us are just gobbling the shit up, you know. But I refuse to fucking fall victim to the ever-growing trend, which is a bunch of shit. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get to the dope. Okay. So we got 3 knives that came via the courtesy of the YouTube pass-around group, and we're going to check them all out. So I guess you could possibly call this like a rapid review. 2 of these are slip joints. This first one is coming to us from Traditional Pocket Knives. Big shout out to Austin over there at TPK. Great individual. He is also a veteran of the armed services. My branch in particularly, USMC. Hoorah! So here we can see we've got TPK's Lake Champlain Barlow. I had showcased another blade style from the same model but I didn't get too in depth with it. These come in at $199. These are OEM'd by QSP. If I'm being honest, QSP is quite possibly doing the best modern traditionals, especially at this price point in the game. We've got 7.75 inches overall on our length. We've got a fantastic walk and talk. The blade is deployed via your nail groove. Oh, that's such a great feeling there. We do have a nice half stop. We've got a full-length stainless steel back spring that is flush with no gaps in any position. We've got this bead-blasted titanium integral bolsters and liners. This version has got this beautiful Halloween camo carbon inlay. Now we've got 3.5 inches in this sheep's foot apparatus. M390 is the steel. We've also got this nicely hand-finished full-length hollow grind. Absolutely gorgeous. There you can see we've got the Lake Champlain logo. And then C. Reisner, which is traditional pocket knives. The weight on this girl comes in at 3.3 ounces. We've got 110 inches on our blade stock. Now, as far as the pull goes, I think they're saying this is like a 7 out of 10. God, it just feels so fucking good. I'll tell you, that shit is almost as addicting as a reverse flick. It really is. Ergonomically feels fantastic. We've got a little bit of a slight hourglass shape here. So therefore, you get a nice palm swell. Feels great in the hand. I'm really digging this one. Let's go ahead quickly and throw up 2 knives for some size comparison. First up, keeping that same QSP energy, we're going to go with this one. Quite possibly my favorite QSP to date, and that is the Penguin Plus. So there you see the Barlow up against that. Last but certainly not least, more QSP vibes. My favorite slip joint in the collection. We're looking at the traditional pocket knives exclusive QSP Hedgehog. So there you see that Lake Champlain up against that. I tell you, man, keep your eye on traditional pocket knives. Great guy, Mr. Austin. Love to support him as he is a veteran-owned business, and I think he's got the game locked on these modern traditionals. So that was the Lake Champlain coming in at number 1. Okay, next one on the list is another slip joint. This one is coming from Tuya, and this one is called the Blackbeard version 2. Don't get it fucked up. Now this one comes in a little bit more, not much. This one comes in at $209. Once again, we've got a nice nail groove there for your deployment. Walk and talk is nowhere near as vocal as that Lake Champlain, but that has to do with this has got intermittent stops. So, you know, it doesn't have just your traditional half stop. It's got several stops along the way. So I guess he's picking up a bunch of bitches on the way to the club. But in all seriousness, I can deal without those intermittent stops. Overall length is 7.5 inches, so a perfect size as far as that goes. Of that, 3.25 is in its clip point blade here. M390 is the steel on that. Flat grind, belt satin finish. Now there, the behind the edge thickness on this thing is not good. It gets rather thick really quick. So there's that. I do like the handles though. We've got this nice bronze titanium contoured and chamfered. Beautiful, actually. It looks really good. Titanium handle. We've got this full-length stainless steel back spring, no space or gaps as well. But this one is actually recessed. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that's kind of unique. And it also comes with a pocket clip. Now, I do wish that more companies making these slip joints would give us a pocket clip. I prefer a clip any day before you're going to make me throw in a goddamn slip in the pocket. So kudos to them on that. As far as that goes, though, I feel it's a little too big. I would have loved to have that maybe a little bit smaller. Due to the length of that, I can kind of get a little semi-hot spot there in the palm of the hand. So, yeah, there's that. Weight on this is 3.4 ounces. Something I'm also noticing on that pull is it's kind of slick the way they got it, you know? Would have liked it to have been maybe a little bit I don't even know what it is they're doing there, but it just doesn't feel right. I feel like if my hands were wet or sweaty, that I would easily slip out of that. Let's go ahead and throw up 2 comparisons for you guys on this one. Let's go with the Savivi Chevalier version 2. Don't you get it fucked up. And then last, the OG. That's right, the OG Penguin. So there you see that Blackbeard up against those. Now, out of those 2 slip joints, by far, I'm leaning towards the Lake Champlain. The materials on this is impressive, but I just think the way they got the pull going, and then those those intermittent stops, that just kind of takes it out of the running for me. Okay, this next one. This is a quote-unquote locking folder, also coming from Tuya. This is one that had been very popular last year. I have been waiting to get my hands on it for several weeks now. This is the Wrath. 6 different versions to this knife. This one comes in at $249, so we can just call it $250. Multiple forms of deployment. We've got this nicely leveraged front flipper. That being said, though, that jimping is pretty aggressive. It does eat the thumbs up a little bit. We do have a nice set of tits on here. Granted, the lock side tit is a little close, or rather too goddamn close to that scale. But that being said, the detent is dialed the fuck in. She does fly out and comes right back to the goddamn house. In the open position, we're looking at 7.75 inches. This particular version has got these frag pattern titanium handles. They are nicely contoured. Blade length came in at 3.5 inches. The real star of the show is the steel. We're rocking S90V. That's right, steel of the gods. We've got a dual compound grind. This beautiful hollow here in the main bevel with the flat at the tip. Also got that nice swedge there on the spine. Plenty of room to disengage that lock bar. They even give you a nice chamfer with some jimping. Right out the gate, we're looking at about 40% on lockup. More to come on that in a minute. You know, due to the that tit being so close to that scale, it is kind of, you do got to make a conscious effort to get your finger on there. I have slipped off a few times trying to get there, but the thumb stud is money all day long. We've got this titanium pocket clip that is right-hand tip up, and they even got a lanyard hole for the weirdos. Score one for the weirdos. Now, it feels fantastic in the hand. You know, these textured handle design is great for ergos and aesthetically pleasing. But I will mention that the frag pattern is a little bit sharp. You know, it is a little bit sharp. I'm not the biggest frag guy, but it is what it is. There are 6 different versions to go with. Also, just notice we do have a, I don't know if that's Timascus or Lightning Anno. We're going to go with Timascus. I think that's Timascus. Now, let's put some comparisons up for this one. Keeping that same S90V energy, we're going to bring it like this. The Para 3. So there you see it up against that. More Spyderco vibes. How about the PM2? So here you see the Wrath up against those. Let's do a couple more, shall we? This next one is the by far the most controversial knife. I tell you, I got so much fucking so much hate for this knife, and you know, it is what it is because I really enjoy the goddamn knife. But that is the Benchmade Narrows. So there you see the Wrath up against that. Now this one right here has really grown on me. I did not think I was going to enjoy it as much as I have been. That is the Brian Brown Jaeger M version 3 with the flipper, River's Edge Cutlery exclusive. So there you see the Wrath up against those. Let's do 2 more. God damn it, 2 more. Continuing to bring you some more of those S90V vibes. This one was a grail for me that we recently acquired, and that is the Spyderco Paisan. So there you see that. Last but certainly not least, a knife with very similar vibes to this Wrath, at least in the blade geometry. We're looking at the Chavez Street. So the Wrath is bigger than that. You know, like I was mentioning when I first was, you know, getting ready to showcase this wrath. I called it a quote-unquote locking folder. Well, there's a reason for that. Look at how light it takes for this to fail. I'm essentially letting the knife free fall, and that's what's happening. Now, granted, in all fairness, I don't necessarily know there's any oil on the tang of the blade. This is not my knife. I would not take it apart. But even with a little bit of oil, I mean, you're talking about essentially blowing on the bitch, and she's failing. That ain't going to work for me. So, you know, I think that video that I plan on doing, showcasing, rather touching on some of the knives that we've been getting that are failing, and then really trying to showcase on the knives that we can rely on, I think that's going to be my next video, you know? But more importantly, I want to know what you fuckers think. Do you think lock failure is a big thing? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me all about it. Love you, mean it. Until the next time, cut something, cut someone, just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers!